We made it. It's another day. It's another day. We did it. So let's get into it, y'all. Well, good morning, good evening. What it do? How are you? Hootie hoo. Happy Saturday too. I am the sound of money in your ear. Dollar Avant. That's still double up. I'm often imitated, never duplicated. They call me the $1 billion babe, aka the pitch queen, aka the people's coach, aka Coach Dollar Bill. And you are in the dollhouse. This is the home of high value entrepreneurs. Over here, you guys, it is day 39 of this 100-day challenge. We are doing the doggone, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's day 38. It's day 38. And we're doing the doggone thing because we can, because we said we would, and that's what we're doing. So, what if you showed up and gave 100% of your best effort 100% of the time for 100 days? How would your life just shift? What if you followed your intuition? Like you had these ideas and these things, inside, and you're like, oh, this is what I know I need to do. You get inspired, you write it down. What if you actually did that and follow through on that 100% of the time for 100 days, even when it gets hard or weird or rough, tough, and all of that stuff? That's what we're going to talk about today. I actually have created, well, hope to get into a conversation so that we can kind of find it. We got to find it, that internal strength. Um, we got to find it because we're balancing the inner game and the outer game. We're balancing the internal work that we have to do, that we find that internal certainty about the direction that we're going and what I know I'm supposed to be doing. And I know that if I control my frequency at all things, right, it's going to change what I'm seeing around me. But if we don't hold it, if we can't hold that energy when, let's say, you go for a deal or an offer, or you really wanted this one client or this opportunity, or you want to get into a program or something, and then it doesn't happen, or you got a big meeting and you get all prepared and you're all excited, and then you go to the meeting and then you don't get the sale. Can you hold the energy? And I want to talk about that because, particularly as melanated entrepreneurs, uh, a lot of times when that happens to us, most people just kind of bounce off and just go head on. But a lot of times, especially as Black women, we internalize it when that happens. And that's actually one of the most dangerous things that you can do. So I wanted to make us aware of it so that we can consciously work our way out of that, so we don't mess with our own greatness, because it'll swerve you off the road if you drop your frequency because you're, oh man, nobody's buying it. Oh, I feel like I'm just capped at this revenue point. I can't make it to the next one. If you constantly live in that energy, you're going to be creating that, whether you know it or not. And the more we become aware of it, the more we can snap out of it. It doesn't have to be a week, 10 days, or 2 weeks. The people that need to hear this, I hope they come out here. But this is why I'm making this video, because it's going to be one of these ones that I go back and reference. Like sometimes it just don't work out. Sometimes your external situation just, you know what? I really needed that contract. And okay, you just feel deflated. So what do we do when that happens? Because you were going based on the energy and you were going on the frequency. I was trusting my intuition. I know I'm in the right place. I know I'm doing it. Da, 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 da. You practiced, you showed up, you did the thing, you made the offer, you went through the presentation, da, 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 and you still don't get it. This is what I need you to understand. Your future self, okay, knows all. Okay, you have an internal GPS. So there are things that you're learning along this journey. There are people that you're meeting along the way, and you don't know how all those pieces are going to fit together yet. So you can't drop your frequency just because something doesn't work out. When you do, when you allow that, ooh, I needed that and we didn't get that. We didn't get the house. We didn't get the deal. We didn't get the whatever it is. If you're not careful, you'll drop from internal certainty back into doubt, just like immediately. And that's the most dangerous place you could be, because you're either spiraling up or you're spiraling down. So I want to talk to you through a process, so where anytime you feel something external to you is not aligning with what you wanted, what you needed, what you felt like you needed in that moment, how to get back in alignment, so that it does not cause you to start creating a downward spiral, because you are more powerful than you think you are. Okay. So the first thing that we have to do when something goes on or doesn't happen the way we think it should is zoom out. Because I keep talking. Yesterday I spent a lot of time talking about, especially when we're in our work day, when we're going about, the activities that we're supposed to be doing, everybody should be doing the big five, every day, because that's where the motion comes from in your business. When they say time is money, because time is just a record of where your energy was at any given moment in the day. It's just clocking it. And so whatever you do most frequently, that's your frequency. It's just a record. Time is a location. And so then over time, enough time, now you have those plots on a grid. It's like a map, and I could see where you are. So your destination is determined by how you spend your time in these present moments. So the more I can get y'all to breathe and stay centered, I'm not being deep. I'm telling you how I made millions of dollars with my mind. Okay. And so this is the training. This is why we have the dollhouse. This is why I talk so much, because I need just a little group of people. It's not going to be everybody, but who are willing to do this inner work. And then on the other side of today, I'm going to tell you how to really take control of your personal brand, because AI and all this stuff is going on. You need a personal brand. You need a community of people, and not just one-to-one with you. People one-to-many, people many-to-many, people you've never met, who know your narrative and know what you're about, and your name being spoken in other rooms where you're not there. You need that. You need that. It's an important asset. So that, by building that, is going to help you avoid, it's going to reduce the number of times that you have to face, rooms you walk in the door and the door is locked to you, or opportunities you try to go for, or you try to, make a sale, or try to get a partnership, and it's like, oh yeah, no, we'll pass on that. The more you build your personal brand, the less you're going to experience that, because the world, you're expanding your capacity. The world, the part of the world that knows who you are, knows what you stand for, and they're rocking with you. You've already done that work in the brand. It's built into the brand. So you could just walk in, like nobody's like questioning. Like, that's why brands are things. That's why brands are valuable. That's why they protect the brand. I was selected as one of 15 global environmental leaders by Apple. Do you know, when I say nobody could put that Apple logo on anything. So I could put the words in the font, but you cannot put that Apple. They protect their brand. They don't play about their brand, because anytime you see that logo, whatever's attached to that logo, you already know, okay, it's a certain level. The trust is already there. People just moving. There's motion, there's speed. There's the speed of money built into that brand. And they did it because people had so many experiences with them over time. The energy was there. Record. Now that story spreads. Now people share the story. Words are containers for energy. So we're sharing the narrative amongst ourselves. And now it's just like, you say Apple, somebody they're going to find the money. They don't have it. They're going to put it on their credit card. Like, what are we talking about? And that's how they make billions of dollars and trillions of dollars. Okay. You have to build a version of that for yourself in your work. So that's the heavy lift. We're going to talk about that in part 2. But if we don't do this internal part, I keep telling everybody, show up on social media. I keep telling everybody, this is not optional. But if we don't shift our internal frequency, you're still not going to do it. You're going to kind of do it, just lackluster do it. And, it doesn't matter. It matters. All right. So if you run into something, a resistance, something that you thought you were going to, get something and it didn't work out, or you missed, the big deal. You thought you were going to close the deal and it didn't happen, or whatever. You didn't hit your sales quota for the week or the month, or whatever. This is a process to help you get back in the energy sooner than later. You can feel your feelings, but then you need to hurry up. So we'll start with this first part up here. The number one thing, you got to go within. Zoom out, meaning don't be so close to what just happened. So let me try to think of an example so we could talk through it together. If somebody has a real example, you feel free to share. But let's say you were going for a really big partnership contract, something that you really thought you were a good fit for. You did all this preparation, you talked to your mentors, like you really went hard in the paint. And then you don't get it. We get deflated. It's like, oh, maybe I wasn't good enough. Maybe I wasn't ready. Maybe I wasn't smart enough. Maybe, all that stuff wants to come in your head, because We're building something. It's not like we've been doing this forever. Like if somebody is like, I don't want an Apple, I'm buying a Dell computer. Nobody at the headquarters of Apple is like, oh, maybe our product is not good enough. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not attached in that way. So the first thing we have to do is zoom out. And then in our case, we have to go within because it doesn't exist externally yet. We're still building it. So you got to zoom out, separate from whatever the actual moment of that experience, the rejection or it didn't work out, or I didn't make my money, or didn't make the quota, or whatever. Because your brain is processing whatever happened to you that you didn't get, is processing it as a physical threat. It can't tell the difference between like if somebody was literally coming to get you versus something didn't work out for you. So it's triggering your nervous system. You're getting cortisol and all these stress hormones, and your breath gets shallow, your muscles get tense. You go into fight, flight, or freeze. And you can't, we talked about it yesterday, you can't create, you can't, we don't have to sell, we can't serve, we can't be present in the moment if you get into this tense, weird energy. So first thing we got to do is zoom out, detach from that immediately. Like even if you have to, like, as soon as the meeting is over, when you go in the elevator, you get in the car or whatever, I need you to handle that immediately. You can't allow that to create a spiral for you. So I want to make sure I'm covering this because I want this video to be a reference that people can come back to. Okay. So if somebody says, no, it doesn't work out, you get a phone call, you get some bad news, whatever that is. The moment you hear that, your nervous system is activating. But you gotta pause. Don't react. Just hold on. Zoom out. And let's go within. Let's see what's actually happening. What's happening in your body? It's like, okay, I know that's my nervous system is reacting. Okay, this is happening. I'm feeling maybe my chest is tight, my stomach, my throat, whatever. This is normal. Like get back in tune with your breath. Okay, I'm not kidding. It's this important. All right. You can also think about it from a lens of trying to name it. Try to name what happened. Oh, it just wasn't for them. It wasn't for this time. They're not rejecting me. It's not me. Okay, this is a moment in time. There's something going on, right? It's nothing wrong with me. Like you got to find it. You got to find it. Okay, it's number one. Go within. Number two. Now you need to get comfortable in your observer state, which should not feel weird to you because you should be doing some type of meditation every day. Every day. It's not optional. There's nobody. Okay, the people out here right now going crazy because, you know, all these files have been dropped and everybody's names in the file and all type of stuff. Okay, that's fine. And they want to say, oh, you can't be an ethical person and be a billionaire. Anybody who says that doesn't know any billionaires, because that's not true. Okay. But however much money you make, everybody on this phone, I need y'all to get to the point where you make it anywhere from 10 to 50 to $100,000 a month, like for real. Y'all, everybody on this phone can do that. But however much money you make, if you're going to go about it without it being a detriment to you, your physical health, your relationships, your family, you know, your mental health, without stepping on people or doing things that are not aligned with your values, you have to do this process that I'm talking about. You have to be able to regulate your frequency in your nervous system, even when things around you don't line up the way you think they should. Okay. So we zoom out, recognize what's happening so we don't start spiraling out or crashing out or whatever, not reacting. Now, get to this observer state. What do I mean by that? There is a state of being, like when you meditate, when you go within, you understand we are connected to source, we are the value, we are enough, we are like all that stuff. Like it's literally, there's a field of potential. And you just chill there. You chill and observe. Okay. Chill there. Rest there. Okay. so that you can distinguish between whatever just happened, whatever you didn't get. Like, okay, I didn't get that position, but guess what? I'm tapped into the universal field of abundance. So there's still no lack. I didn't get that sale, but I'm still got all the money I need. So why would I let anything separate me from the feeling, the love, the energy of abundance? I didn't get that, but I still have what I need. That's how it sounds when you're sitting in the seat of the observer. Okay. You have to reconnect. There's no lack here. Okay, it wasn't that. Oh, I guess it's something better coming. You know what I'm saying? Like, it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with your value and how good you are, or how smart you are, or anything like that. It might not be a good fit, might not be the right timing. And even worse, all money is not for you. I don't know how to emphasize that. All deals are not for you. All customers, all clients are not for you. You get with the wrong person, you get the wrong something inside your energy field, and it will blow up your entire business, nay, your life. You don't want everything just because it kind of looks similar to what you thought you wanted. You don't actually want everything. So when we tap into this state of abundance, we don't have to feel no way. We don't have to be like, oh my God, I didn't get it in it. Because there's still more. I have what I need, so I'm fine. It's fine. Okay. So you can ask yourself, what else could the no or this not working, what could it mean? It's not because I'm not good enough. It's not, oh, it never works out for me. It's not any of these negative, low frequency responses. They might not be ready yet. They don't have the budget right now. It's not the right fit for them. The timing is off. That's not the kind of client I actually want. Our values don't align. Maybe they need some time. They need to be nurtured some more. They'll come around in a couple of months. They might be afraid of change. They might not fully understand the value yet. There's something that continue. I can learn something from them. Maybe a different offer, different price, different tier, different format, or whatever the case may be. But none of that has to do with the fact that you are the value. That doesn't change. Okay. So once we have that locked in, it's time to reframe how we're seeing this, and shift the meaning that you're assigning to this thing. You got to consciously choose your response as opposed to reacting, right? So it's just more data. This is just teaching me something I need to know. Let me watch the game film so I could correct that for the next one. This is, oh, I see that this kind of person they're not ready for this offer yet. I need to create something else for them at this early stage. Or I can see this is not the kind of person that I really want to work with. I don't find joy in this work. Let me, next time, if I see these markers, I know that I don't need to waste my energy there. It could be a variety of things, as opposed to saying, oh, they rejected me. I shouldn't have been so confident. What made me think I could get it? All of that. You have to celebrate you even making the offer, even having the meeting, even getting the opportunity, even being brave enough to talk to the humans that you talk to, and label that as a success. Because we're just getting the reps in. We're just putting the energy inputs into the energetic field, because time is clocking. That thing does not stop. It is clocking your energy. And if you stay there, everything that's aligned with that frequency is coming to you. It's coming. You have to stay in motion so you meet it. Okay. So we're reframing what all this means and realigning with what it means to have abundance, to have certainty. I'm not confused. I know what my intuition said. So we don't treat our intuition like something, oh, that was cute, and then like a little kid, and then we forget about that toy and we run off. Now we're spiraling out of control. Like, we got to treat it like something valuable. Like if somebody gave you a diamond ring, or like a treasured box or whatever, this is your value. You hold on to this. You don't spiral over there like that. So it's like, well, I just need more conversations. I just need more reps, right? I'm building this muscle, trusting my frequency, even when I don't have external proof yet. You spend all your time on a video, you post it, and then it's like crickets. You don't drop your frequency. You take the data from that and you keep going. Okay. So reframe and realign. I know most people are not going to do this, but that is why most people don't make no money in their business. So I'm sharing with you guys the secret sauce that nobody talks about. Okay. Then after that, you're going to return back to being present in the moment. Okay, so I'm locked in again. I'm back centered where I need to be. And now you ask yourself, do I still know in my knower? I know in my knower what I'm here to do. I'm still sure my intuition is telling me to go this way. Yes. That didn't change just because you didn't get what you wanted or somebody said no or it didn't work out or you got a weird phone call or whatever. Okay. When I close my eyes, I tune into this frequency. Does it still feel true for me? This is what I need to be doing. If yes, we're locked in. Am I still willing to trust my knowing, even though I can't see it yet, even though this might be my first time doing it this way? I'm out of my comfort zone a little bit. I still have some work to do. If you can answer yes to these questions, perfect. You're locked back in with your internal certainty. You're activated. So now come back to the present moment and let's do some things. You breathe. I know what I'm here to do. I trust my frequency. I'm following my intuition. I'm locked in. This circumstance does not change my internal certainty. Turn to your truth. Okay. Then we're going to take an action. The action of somebody who's still locked in, not the action of somebody who just had an L. Okay. So reach out to somebody else to create another conversation. Make another offer. Post some more content talking about what you just experienced and went through. Do some journaling about it. Take an action to prove that you're not collapsing and you're not spiraling and crashing out. You can't allow a no or a closed door or whatever that is to just make you just shut all the way down. So I want you to take an action in line with your realigned frequency within 24 hours. That's how we build resilience over time. Get back in the game. Because there's no way you're going to make millions of dollars without having some people tell you no and having some things not work out and having some people go crazy on you. People you thought were friends go trip like, oh, hold on. I mean, you'd be like, what is this energy? So this is a muscle we have to develop all the time. Okay. So that's the first part I wanted to share. This is really, really important. Now, anybody have comments or questions, feel free to put in the chat. The second thing I want to talk about is what it means what no actually means. Okay. Because again, as Black folks, especially Black women, we oftentimes are taught that we have to have everything just perfect. We got to have it just right. We got to sound right, got to look smart, got to do all this. The W's don't move like that. And so we gotta break this programming. Okay. It says we're trained to think like if somebody says no or we don't get it just right, it means that we were wrong, that we shouldn't be so bold, like we shouldn't trust our internal compass. But in actuality, no. It just means that this person at this time with their current level of awareness and circumstance, they are not a vibrational match for what I'm doing right now. Because remember, it's just a game of concentration. So you hold this frequency. You do this work I keep telling y'all to do. You got to do the work, but it's internal and it's external. You hold the frequency and you do this work. And you start showing up and talking to people. Every single person or opportunity or whatever is not going to necessarily match. But can you hold the energy anyway? This is how we have to learn to see ourselves. Your internal view of what it is has to be bigger and stronger than what's external to you. And that's the only way to get everything external to you to shift to match what you see on the inside of you. Okay. You have to understand that the way that I speak right now, I was speaking like this when didn't nobody know me. I was speaking like this before Aquagenuity. I've been speaking like this because this is who I am. The world has to shift around you. Before Forbes and Wired and Google and all these people, the TED Talk, the world has to shift around you. And every experience, every person you encounter, every time you put some energy out in the field, it's going to give you some data, some feedback back. So if you don't allow that to shake who you are, that means you can learn, you could grow. That curiosity is the highest frequency. Your willingness to learn. I want to know what's going to happen. If I talk to this kind of person and I bring this offer and let's see what's going to happen. That's a completely different energy than, oh my God, okay, I know I'm supposed to be talking to people. Expansion. Reset your identity and seek expansion. There's no other way. Well, this is the way. Let me say it this way. That's how you collapse time and shorten. You don't have to take all this time to make this money. 6 months from now, you can be making $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 a month. Seriously, if that. It don't take that, because some of us need to raise our prices. You get your 2, 3 clients, boom, boom, boom. What are we talking about? So I wanted to make sure that we've laid this foundation, because it's hard for me to coach people who every time something goes on and they want to call my phone and have a 20-hour 20-minute therapy session. First, I'm not a therapist. Okay. I'm not your friend. I'm not your mentor. I'm not an advisor. I'm a coach. And what that means is, okay, what's going on? How we feeling? What we looking like? If you got an injury or something, you tell me, okay, this is going on. I can't. Okay, then we can address that, right? But typically, it's like, all right. So which part are we on? Where we at? What we doing? Like I always ask y'all, what's going on? And then once I know, okay, we're working on this today. Okay, and then let's go. Because I'm here to give you a play that you can run, both internally and externally now. But I'm giving you a play that you can go and run. That's been proven. You know where I got this play from? Me, my own experience, and people, some of whom are actual billionaires. And other people making hundreds of thousands, a month and stuff like that in their business. And I'm saying, just do it like this. You don't have to figure, just do it like this. Cool. And then we brainstorm and we come up with something custom that's just for you based on what you're trying to build. And it's like, ready, break, and then you go. But if every time something goes wrong, you collapse your frequency, and then 2 weeks go by and a month goes by and you're not really, I know I'm supposed to be doing that. I know dog said but, and you're not doing the thing, then you come back to practice the next time. You haven't developed any skill. You don't have any feedback. There's nothing to work with. I don't want you guys wasting time. When I tell you, I don't know our timeline. I don't know how much time we have. But all I know is we need enough cash flow so we could purchase some assets, so all of your savings and all of your wealth is not sitting in USD. Because when they finish playing with this financial system, you're just going to want some money. You're going to want some money, and you want to be able to possibly move out of the country. That's what you're going to want. I'm just telling you. It's not going to get better. It's going to get a lot worse and crazier before it gets better. So we don't have time. Okay? So when somebody says no to you, that's actually giving you clarity on who your offer is not for. And then which parts of your offer you could tweak. Like if they're interested, but they're like, oh yeah, if they're giving you qualitative feedback, like, yeah, I would love that, but, and they're telling you the price point or different color or different shape, or, I don't like that flavor. I like this or whatever. You take that feedback. But every no is helping you get clearer. But if you don't ever get to a no, that means you're not refining your targeting. It's giving you information how to improve your pitch. Maybe your language is not landing. Maybe you're not speaking to their real pain point. Maybe you're still speaking in technical language and they don't understand. Maybe you rush too fast to the offer without building enough trust. But this is data, so you got to use it. Every time you run into some resistance, this is your future self telling you to practice. It's like an athlete has to be in the gym. You don't just show up for game time. You have to also be in the gym, and you also have to be eating a certain diet. So when you face resistance in your life, you're supposed to be practicing holding your frequency. I don't see nothing going like I thought it was going to go, but that didn't change what internally. Stay in the frequency. That's how you build that muscle. So that when you get out on the court in the real game, you're not like huffing and puffing all out of shape. You hold. These are the reps. You got to do your reps so that you have the muscle memory, and you can stay in the game and play all 48 minutes of the basketball game without passing out. And this is also evidence of your courage. You got to celebrate these things sometimes. You made the offer. You had the meeting. You did something that you wouldn't have normally done. This is growth. It's called growth. They say growing pains. we need to celebrate this. I'm growing. I'm learning something. I'm doing something nobody else around me would be bold enough to do what I'm doing. I'm doing it. Look at me. That's what you're supposed to do. And then oftentimes, like if you're driving on the road and your GPS is like rerouting, it's just redirecting you towards the path where you're supposed to go. So if you run into somebody and they're like, oh yeah, nah, that's just realigning you to your yes. So people that look like that, show up like that, are in this energy, in this frequency, those are not my people. So you don't have to bang your head up against the wall trying to be something in a place that's not for you. Because you think, oh, I need this. No, you don't need that. You don't need that. You are the gift. You are the value going somewhere to happen. Okay. You don't have to try to force yourself into an environment that's not for you. They thought they were finna hire an employee child. That's what I found out. And I was like, oh yeah, no. Yeah, we're not doing this. There's no way. There's no way. And so that was not for me. So I told them politely, yep, no, I'm good. I'm not going to be taking this interview to go any further in this process. And then Harvard called and, oh, we need you to judge the President's Innovation Challenge for Harvard University. So I'll be doing that this February. And then my speaking tour begins in March. You know what I'm saying? Like, who knows what's coming? This show might be happening. I don't want to make a commitment to these people that I got to go. I got to go. I'm be on the other side of the world. I don't work no job. I haven't worked a job since 2007. What are we talking about? They needed an employee to do that role that they were talking about. They didn't present it that way, but come to find out. So you always want to allow, you got to trust. That's why we live from the inside out. We got to trust the energy enough to direct us where we're supposed to go. You think you know, like you go and you're like, intuition is like, okay, go to the place that should not be named. You went there and it was like, well, this ain't quite right. But guess what? You met a lot of people. You might have got access to some resources. You started some relationships that might come around 3 years later. You met me. You know what I mean? So it's like, just because things don't work out doesn't mean you weren't supposed to go that way. But you just got to trust the process. You got to trust the process. So when somebody tells you no, or a circumstance doesn't work out, or you don't get what you thought you wanted, or whatever that is, instead of saying, well, why did they say no? Why didn't I get it? Da, 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 da. You need to think of it like this. What is this no making space for? In my life, in my career, in my business? What is it shining a light on? Like if you know you haven't been practicing and then you get up and sing the solo and your voice cracked, what is that telling you? So that we could course correct and not make the same mistake again. Every time you face resistance or something doesn't go right, it's guiding you. Keep going, because you're going to get to the yes. You're going to get to the place of alignment. Okay. You're always right on time. You're in your own timeline. It's not the marketplace. Don't let nobody be in your ear talking about, well, it's been 6 months and I don't see no progress. None of that. You're on your own timeline. The place is always here. The time is always now. You're always where you need to be. Okay. So you got to trust it. Got to trust it. Got to trust it. Now, if you're able to do that, then this is what we need to talk about secondarily to that. Okay. There is something that you can build that will be a shield, so you won't experience as many no's in your life, in your career, your business, whatever you got going on. And that is called a personal brand. And that's really what I've been talking about this whole time. This 5-star system that I'm giving you guys piece by piece by piece, and we're going all the way down the rabbit hole on each piece of this system. When you have all of these pieces working, you will not encounter as many no's. Like you won't have as many people like saying, oh, I'm not sure that. It's like it's almost like pre-selling your value, because they will encounter your brand before they encounter you. The problem is most of us do not have a personal brand that we're intentionally building. You know, we have a lot of people that we know, that we meet, that we talk to, and, you know, we're kind of outside and we might be taking notes now and kind of documenting, who we're talking to, maybe. Okay. But what we're not doing is intentionally building our brand like an asset. Like, this is a thing that every time I show up like this 5-star pitch. I know that because I've talked to so many people, when I say it like that, they have this emotional engagement, connection, reaction. They're going to ask me certain questions. I know how to answer all those questions. I've created now a body of work around everywhere people are on the journey between they just met me, just heard of me, all the way to they want to buy something. And then the third part is how we need to show up on social media to leverage and scale that story. That's a story I just told you. So I got clear. I went within. I got clear. I tapped in. I know that I'm doing the right thing. I'm trusting my intuition. Okay, this is what I need to be doing right now. Cool. Now get your pitch together so that there's alignment. And how do we do that? You have to be able to answer these questions. And some of us are there, some of us are still not there. How does your target audience define themselves? Not how you define them. Because if I'm going around and saying, I'm trying to think of a good example. You have to use the language that they say about themselves, not how you define them, not corporate language about who you are. I help women age, 35 to 24 to 54, none of the demographic stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. The actual label that they use to define themselves. So like, if I'm in the tech world, I would say early stage founders. But when I'm not talking to tech people, I don't say that. I say creatives, visionaries, and entrepreneurs, because that's how many of you label yourselves. It matters. You got to understand that this matters, because subconsciously people are like, I don't say I help small business owners, because this group, when I was at SCORE, I used to say that. This group doesn't define themselves that way. So how do they define themselves? You have to be super clear on that. Then what is their desired outcome? What transformation do you actually provide? So I don't say I teach people the 5-star pitch, because that's not what they wake up in the morning saying that they wish they had. They don't even know that that's what they need. In Aquagenuity, I didn't say I give people EPA certified water test kits, because nobody wakes up and says, oh my God, I wish I had an EPA certified water test kit so I could, nobody's saying that. So it's not going to match. It's not going to be an energetic match. This is a game of concentration. So what is their desired outcome? So I help people go from having all these ideas in their head to having money in the bank. I help them match their bank account with their brilliance. I help them get at least past $10,000, $20,000 a month income so they could start building this generational wealth and leave a legacy and buy back their time. So what are they saying? And are you saying the same thing that your audience is saying? You have to be super duper clear. I could have said internal certainty, external clarity. Let's call it our clarity checklist. If you can't answer these questions, I don't care how great your product is. I don't care how many people you don't serve. It doesn't matter. You got to get it down to literal science, because this needs to show up on your website. This needs to show up every time you speak. This needs to show up if you train somebody. This needs to show up if you start, going to partners and distributors and wholesalers and people. They need to know how to talk about your work. And if you don't give them that language, then they don't know how to position what you do. They don't know how to go talk to their boss about it. You got to make it portable. Not just, well, when I get in the conversation with people, then it always just happens. Okay, but how do we do that? We got to get crystal clear. Okay. And then what do you help them? How do you help them to achieve the transformation? So a lot of you guys, I think you kind of landed on this, but it has to feel like that. It has to be very almost like the name of, not even the name of your system, because they might not be familiar with the brand that you're creating yet, but it's like, Like Tracy keeps talking about, she said something about breath work and yogic practices the other day. I thought that was clever. Defining what you do in a way that's like, it makes it tangible. Okay. This is the problem that I have when I teach this kind of stuff to people. They want to get real deep, and then they start talking about all these benefits that people get, but they never anchor it in something real, something that I know what it is. So what is it that you do that they know what it is? How do you help them achieve the transformation? That's something that we got to figure out. And then why do they care? Like I just said, so that they can, get their time back and build generational wealth. That's what I know that my audience wants, because that's what they say all the time. And we put that together, and that's your pitch. That's your elevator pitch. If you just say it in one sentence, if you do the whole 5-star pitch, you just build on that. If you take that, now it goes on your website. Those same 5 sections should show up on your website. Like the clarity, your packaging, if you got, everything should be saying this same sheet of music. This is your hit song. Who do you serve? How do they call themselves? Not what do you want to call them? What is their desired outcome of transformation? How do you do that? Like, what do you do with your work? So you could define a process, or you could name it something, but it has to sound logical. You got to check that box. And then what's the outcome after they work with you? What? So they have peace of mind, they protect their family's health, and they know what's in their water. Okay. Can y'all answer these questions? Please tell me we can. If not, that's what we need to keep working on. It's so critical. This is where the money is lost in the sauce, because nobody ever defines it, and you're just kind of out here floating like, yeah, I know I can help people. Yeah, I could. It's not enough. Okay. Shout out to Kendrick. Okay, so we need the clarity on our pitch. And then I need to know where you're taking people. Because again, if you do the 5-star pitch the way that I've been teaching it forever, by shifting their identity and how they talk about their work, I think that's what I'm going to say. Anyway, if you have this clarity around this 5-star pitch and you get all the way around, it's like a baseball game. Without fail, you're going to get some level of motion. They're going to want to take another step with you. Okay. Oh, I need more information on that. Oh, that my sister needs that. Oh, wait a minute. So what, like that. So you need to have somewhere to take them. What's your call to action after you talk to them, after they hear your story, your narrative? And that we talked about yesterday. You need these 4 different ways for somebody to engage with you, give you some money. Now, these prices are just reference. It depends on what you got going on and what you're selling. But I would love it if some of you guys got towards some higher price points, because you're worth it. But anyway, depends on what you're selling and how you're showing up. Or maybe like you have minimums, so that, 1,500 is like your minimum order or whatever. Or you do a contract where, 6 months, 3 months, 6 month minimum, something like that. But anyway, so you need something that's very cheap or free, that they could just take another step with you, somewhere that you get their information and you give them some value. Most people, when I meet them at the stage that you're in, they actually need this. So why don't we start here? Go right here, put your email address in the thing, boom, it's going to send you to a page, and you're going to see a video and a worksheet that's going to help you work out your 5-star pitch. After you finish that, at the end, there's going to be a link right there, and go in the calendar and get on my calendar for 15 minutes. Let's work on what you have, and let's see if you get some clarity out of that. Is that fair? Or my book that's coming out, I have a whole quiz. There's 7 habits. I define what high value entrepreneur is, and then there's 7 habits that every high value entrepreneur is doing every day, whether they're conscious of it or not. So if you want to assess and see where you are and where you might be weak, just take this test. Take this test. It'll take you 10 minutes. It's going to really help you kind of get clarity, if you just feel like overwhelmed and I've been working on my business and I know, I'm making a little bit of money, but I'm not sure, this is going to fix all of that. So just go right here. All they got to do is put the email in there, take the quiz, boom, boom, boom. They get value. They get a whole report, and I got their contact information. And after that, in about a week, I'm going to follow up with you. And you can do one of three things. You can join us on our Zooms on Thursday. You can get on, stay on our email list. You get plenty of value. And if you want to get on my calendar, there's a few slots available this week. This month. I don't really do that anymore, but you know what I'm saying. So if you want to talk, boo, boo, boo. What can you offer people for free that's going to give them some clarity, some direction, and bring them into your world? That's going to also be the first step towards solving this bigger problem that you saw. We talked about this at length, but if we don't have clarity on this, it's going to be difficult to scale your business. It's going to always feel like starting over every day, every week. Okay. So number 2 would be that gateway, like something that's low cost, something they can buy, whether they're just buying something they, buying a one-time product from you, or one-time taste test, or templates, or a book, something that's, $25, or a workshop, or, something that's an easy purchase decision for them. And depending on your audience, whatever price point is like nothing. Definitely something less than $100, but you could have it up to $200 or $300. I've seen people do it. Then your core offer. This is your signature thing, what you really want to sell 10 of when you sat down on the back of a napkin and you imagined your life. And I hope you all have reverse engineered this, but if you haven't, we need to know the math. What's your 6-figure math for your business? Let's say $10,000 a month. That's $120,000 a year. How many clients do you have to have at your signature mark to hit that revenue? That's what your core, your signature offer is. That main thing that you thought you were in business to sell before you realized you had to build all this other stuff out. Okay. And then that could be my minimum order. I'm going in retail. My minimum order is 1,000. So whatever you're buying from my product line, we don't take orders below 1,000. And, typically, the volume of that, they'll probably go through an order like that in like a month or whatever. So if I have 10 stores, that's my $10,000 a month. You have to know what that is for your business. I teach a whole workshop on reverse engineering your numbers and creating this new floor. Okay. And then number 4, ongoing. So you might be a membership. It don't have to be $5,000, y'all. It could be something like $40, $50 a month. Because if you had a community of people that you've been working with and serving over the years, and they've gotten value, maybe they bought your signature thing, maybe it's $300 or $500, whatever. They bought that already, but they're still in the energy. You can have a membership. They could be paying you, let's say it was $50 a month, but you had 200 people over time that end up jumping in your membership. That's another $10,000. You know what I'm saying? So legacy just means ongoing, engaging, maintenance, membership. But it could also be like I no longer offer my one-on-one coaching. If you're not already in the doghouse, you can't do that. But I could have like a VIP day or like a retreat or something like that where, okay, you want to deal with me one-on-one, or you want to come to a group and live and do something, that would be like a high ticket or a legacy or VIP offer. So that's what I mean. You got to have these 4 different ways that people can engage. And it shouldn't be so easy for them to get to you. It should be something that can be scaled, mass produced, produced without you physically being there, maybe. And if they're going to physically get access to you, your brain, your physical labor, you need to charge more. You need to charge more for that. Okay. So any questions about that? And then I'm going to tell you how all this shows up on your social. Okay. So this is our long-term strategy, the long-term game plan. And this is what I'm believing that we're going to be able to turn the corner in this 100-day challenge. Because if y'all are doing this internal work and these little exercises every day, and you're like, no, that didn't work. Try it again. Okay, let me go back to that. Try it again. You're going to get to the point where it's like, okay, I see it. You should be having some clarity about the pieces on your board. So we got our pitch and how we show up. We got our internal clarity and knowing how we make decisions and how we respond, even though we don't see it happening. We know how to go within. Boom. And now we have this world of offers and, your little landing pages and your little connecting things. We got to connect all that stuff. So I know it's a process, but as long as you have an idea of what that's going to look like, we know where we're headed. Then we want to build the tools around that to have the narrative going out here in the marketplace and turn it into a brand. Okay. So what that was, again, going to allow you to decrease the amount of rejection that you are facing in the first place. 80% of people that you come in contact with, they're going to be, oh yeah. They're already sold before you ever make an offer. This is my life, by the way, y'all. They already know who you are. They already trust your expertise. They believe in your value. They know your story. They understand your approach. And they were just like, oh my God, I've been waiting to meet you type energy. Oh my God, that kind of thing. You could do this with the personal brand. So it pre-sells your offer so that your sales conversations become more like confirmation conversations. And you don't have to convince anybody of anything. Okay. So your personal brand, when I say that, I mean how you're known from a distance. I'm not talking about influencers and people being Instagram famous. Like, who cares? I have no desire to help you get millions of followers, because that's a vanity metric. Social media is dying, by the way. Like, this is not. You need a community of people who know who you are, know your narrative, and know your value from a distance. What people say about you when you're not in the room. It's the reputation you build through consistent, visible, valuable presence. When they talk about your work, your industry, your name should be coming up in rooms when you're not there. And this is even more important for us as Black entrepreneurs, because just what it is, people need more proof before they trust us, because we've all been conditioned, right? So they need to see you more times before they believe in our expertise. They need more evidence before they'll invest. This is just the reality. Y'all know that. So we got to build a strong enough brand that by the time, they either encounter you or they hit your landing page or something like that, the trust is already established. Okay. So we need these 5 pillars. And the one is what I talk about all the time. So you should already have that. Your pitch, which is what gives you clarity on what you actually, gives them clarity on what you actually stand for. That one clear statement, we just went over it. What problem do you solve? Who you solve it for? How do you do that? What makes your approach different? It's not a tagline. This is a positioning statement. And notice that that's a location word. It's a target in the energetic field. It's like, this is my worldview. This is how I'm showing up. And now what we're looking to do is align with people who need exactly what we have. And that match, that's where the money resides. That connection is the birthplace of your currency. So if you don't have clarity in your pitch and you're just all over the place, then that's why you're not making no money. Okay, we gotta fix that. Okay. So I help black folks, visionaries, creatives, entrepreneurs go from pending to posted. I did a whole setting on that, a teaching on that. You know how when you put something in the bank and it says pending, but you can't access it. And posted is when it's in there. Now you can spend it and do what you want to do. So I take you from having ideas in your head and make sure that your bank account can match that brilliance. Instead of being stuck and overwhelmed and confused, I help you make first 10K. You get to where you're doing that every single month. How do I do that? I teach you how to trust your internal GPS and shift your identity. And then I give you the frameworks and tools that I've learned from my own journey and from my billionaire mentors, so you can hurry up and move at the speed of money and get your money and go head on. That's what I do. So you got to be able to do this. I help who go from what problem state to what solution state by doing this. Your approach, so they can what? If you think you have that already, I need you to say it 100 times. I need you to embody it in your insides. Okay. So that's the first pillar. Don't play with this pitch. I need that from everybody. And I'm looking, I can't see who's on the stream, but a lot of you guys have it. Some of you don't, and that's okay. So number 1, that's what we got to do. Number 2, here we go. This is the part. We need to publish consistent and valuable content that demonstrates this expertise, that tells that same story in different ways and builds trust over time. Because remember, 7 11 4, they need to spend no less than 2 hours, but really 7 hours according to this study with you. They need to see you 11 times to even notice you. They need the 7 hours of content and experience and engagement, or times that they've scrolled on across your page, whatever, before they trust you. You need to be publishing. And how do we do that? Because they work for us on all of our devices. So social media posts, don't listen. If you're not making $10,000 a month, you should not be posting any less than 4 or 5 times a week. Some people are doing it 4 or 5 times a day. My coaches and mentors are looking at me like, dog, what y'all doing over there? Like, and I know it's most of it is internal. So at least 4 or 5 times a week. Okay. You could do long form content, podcast, blog, YouTube, LinkedIn articles. You could do all that. You could do Substack. Notes is better than Twitter. Somebody need to get on Substack, put your different recipes and different things. It's a whole course I'm gonna have to teach on Substack, email newsletters, YouTube, and LinkedIn. I got all the playbooks for all 4 of those. So I'm going to do like some kind of weekend workshop and then put it in the Dollhouse 2.0. So y'all can grab it if you feel like you need that. Because there are some intricacies and some nuances of how to build that stuff and make it work. But I just need you to show up first. Okay. You could be telling stories from your journey, frameworks that you use, client stories, how you overcame different things. And now I even have prompts for how to get if you're writing these articles and stuff, to make it go in the exact order that your storytelling should go. Because you always need a hook. We talked about hooks at length. Then you need to kind of amplify that problem that they're hearing or experiencing so they can relate to from you. Then you give me some kind of resolution to that story, and then you have a call to action in everything that you post. Because we're not just posting just to post. I mean, it's fun times, but also we're guiding people somewhere. So there's an exact way to show up to do that. That's why we're in the Dollhouse. If I can get you to lock in and you're like, okay, here's what I'm going to be posting. I think I'm going to show up like this. When you're locked in and you choose a pathway, then I can come in and say, okay, now here's why you do the email newsletter. Here's how you connect your Substack to your email newsletter. Do I need an autoresponder and a Substack? Yes. Here's why, and here's how you do it. But I can't get to that level of nuance. And we're still in our head and we don't know what we're selling people and we're all over the place and we don't want to keep a CRM and we're not tracking the conversations. It doesn't make sense. So I want to be super specific and give y'all all this good stuff, but we got to lock in. So I need you to be prolific, not perfect. Don't wait till it's polished. Don't wait till you figure it out. Don't wait till ... I need you to be publishing your brilliance, broadcasting your brilliance from where you are right now. If you're doing a big 5, you're already doing this. So I just want you to turn up the volume. If you're doing it on one platform, let's try to get to 4. Seriously. But start with the 1. I gave you a whole thing of what to post. You should have all this already. Okay. But you could talk about a lesson that you learned from a no, a framework that you used in the past to hold your frequency, a client transformation, a story from your journey. Invite them on your journey. If you're building towards a big goal, it's day 1 of the . We're aiming to whatever, some big goal you set for the year. Take them on a journey with you. A question that your audience has been asking you. There's never a shortage of what to post, okay? 3rd pillar we just talked about, this value ladder, this offer ladder, so that you can meet people where they are. They can engage you at their current level of trust and investment. Maybe they're not ready for the big thing yet. Maybe I just got here now. And then as they experience results and get value from you, they'll ascend. Okay? And that decreases the amount of rejection, because you're not like meeting somebody and then, hey, you want to buy something. You're meeting them on the journey and giving them a path over time. Okay. Then we need to get to where you're visible. Like I said, if I get you going on one platform where you start publishing get it out of your head, put it out here somewhere. Okay. Then let's expand that profile. Let's be visible on multiple platforms. So maybe we take this video from YouTube and now we chop it up and turn it into different things for Instagram and over here and over there. Maybe you're showing up on other people's podcasts, doing interviews, doing guest posts, making sure you're sharing social proof. That's all the testimonials and the client wins and the case studies and the good outcomes. That's money. That's collateral. That's currency. So you have to put it where people can see it. Anytime you can associate with credible brands, other people, build community, have numbers, have a lot of people showing up for, things that are visible, and then showing up consistently. Now, this is where these meatballs and alcohol events can work for you, because now that you have all this stuff in place and you got your frequency together and you have a plan, you're not just out here hoping, waiting on something to happen. You could literally pull up at all these 17,000 events per day that are happening in Atlanta, Georgia. You could pull up and, you know what I'm saying? Pull up and go work the room. Go meet the people. So everybody in all these environments and the people who are hosting all these events, they should all know who you are. All of them. I would go to, if I was starting over right now, I would go to every event, at least 3-4 days a week. I would go to all these events in Atlanta. LA is good for this too. A lot of cities have, these environments. Okay. Seattle, I know. DC does. Detroit does. Chicago. Yeah. Y'all could be outside. I don't care where you are. Even Europe. So I would go to these events, work the room, bring good energy, wear a bright color, especially for my ladies. That's a trick. Just wear something that somebody's going to comment on. Not like you're going to the club. That's not what I mean. But wear a bright color, something that's, a conversation starter. And go in the room and go around. What's up? What's up? How you doing? Act like you know everybody, even though you just got there now. And they're going to ask you, what do you do? Ta-da! Now you get to say your 5-star pitch. Just do the thing. But it's conversational. You get to know what they do. Blah, 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 blah. You may or may not have any customers or clients in that room. It doesn't matter. They'll know who you are. And they'll know your story. And they'll go and tell somebody else, oh, I just met somebody who, next time they're in a room where they're talking about what you do. Oh, I just met the best plant-based chef. Oh, yeah, I just met her. She's awesome. But the other thing I would do before I leave that room is go find the host of that event. Who put the event together? And that whole team, everybody is working the event. And I would make sure that every single one of them know who I am and what I do. Because I need y'all talking about me and what I do when I'm not there. I would do that if you're in a new city, just got there today. I would do that for 3 to 6 months. So that people know your name, your story, your narrative. Oh, yeah, I met her. Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, she got it. We have to have a profile out here, okay? And that becomes your credibility. That's proof of your expertise. That is how your narrative starts to live outside of you. So we're getting testimonials for people, every client. Even if you did some work for them for free, I need a testimonial, either verbal, written, video, or whatever. We need a testimonial. If they're saying it to you, hit record on your voice memo. Capture the testimonials of people and what they say about your work. Share all your wins, big and small. Track your results. Send thank yous, gratitude for the small things to people. Build partnerships with people who already have credibility and show up and, hey, maybe I could do this. Maybe I could, be creative. Come up with some ways that you can, get in the energy. This is your profile. Because why? If I Google your name right now, what will come up? Now we're getting off of that. As soon it's going to be AI agents looking for you. Are they going to be able to find you? Is it clear what it is that you do? If I'm looking at your Instagram or your LinkedIn or whatever profile, does it say what you just said to me in pillar number 1 about who you serve and what you do? Is it credible? And if not, we got to start creating content and positioning ourselves in a way that positions you as the expert. So that's digitally, we need that footprint. And in real life, there needs to be a group of humans that know who you are and like, oh yeah, yeah. If your name comes up, or would it just be a blank? This is important. Okay, then the last piece is partnerships. Which again, if you don't have all this clarity that I'm talking about, or you try to go and get a partnership with somebody that you don't know, the first thing they're going to do is look you up. So if nothing is happening, it's crickets on all your pages. They're not getting the clarity, they're not seeing the energy, the spark is not jumping off the page. They're not going to do a partnership with you. So you got to do all of this first and then build these strategic relationships or partnerships that will amplify your reach, allow you to borrow, if you will, the credibility of other people and other platforms. So like that's again, guest appearances on podcasts, collaborating with peers, people in your industry or who do something similar, y'all could get together. Guest teaching in other people's communities, co-creating content or offers or something like that, sharing each other's work intentionally. Some of you guys are doing a really good job of building those types of relationships, even here in the dollhouse, which I think is great. And like I said, if it wasn't the end of the world, I would be in the city and we would be meeting probably once a month like we used to do on Sundays. But nevertheless, y'all are doing it anyway. So I'm holding the energy, holding the space, and y'all are finding each other. So I think that's beautiful. But when you align with other voices, other trusted voices, like I said, it's like leveraging social capital, borrowing other people's credibility. Their audience will actually trust you out of association. Like you can get on somebody else's platform and then make an offer at the end, and everybody's going to jump on your email list, or everybody's going to, take you up on this offer. So I want you to think about 3 people in your industry. Once you have the clarity now, once you've done all this other stuff, be thinking about 3 people in your industry, just like last week's assignment for LinkedIn, to identify people that you want to work with or people whose audience would benefit from your work, whether you know them or not. And start the whole DM process that we worked on last week, and reach out to them and see if you can get a conversation going. And in your mind, it's basically like, I would love to serve your community. Is there something I could do, a free workshop, anything, whatever, like try to get a brainstorming session going with them. Okay, that's it for today. That's it. We got to align internally, and then we got to get these pillars externally. If we do this, if I know for sure that y'all got the clarity and y'all are ready to do this work, I will tell you every single, I'm not exaggerating, multi-million-dollar playbooks for how to do this email, even podcasts. I have one for podcasts too, but it's going to take me a minute to teach all of these. But Substack, LinkedIn, email, YouTube, and podcasts. So you don't have to be confused. How do I do this? I'm not sure. I'm just throwing it out there. We're not going back to that. We're not going back to the throw it out there and see what happens. We want to take this clarity all the way forward, because clarity breeds confidence. Confidence allows you to be present, so you make real connections. And connection is the birthplace of all currency. So, do y'all have any questions for me? Because if not, it's Saturday, and you go enjoy your rest of your day. You know what I'm saying? Comments, questions, concerns, challenges, feedback, perspectives, or personal story time. All right, I'll see y'all on the next one. Until then, I gotta go. We out. Pew!